Thank you.
KDXI St. George, Radio St. George at 100.3 FM. And we welcome you to the Extraordinary Talk Show, a show to help you understand yourself and the world from a new perspective, and in the process, help you find your own personal extraordinary. And now your host for the Extraordinary Talk Show, Della Hill.
Hey everybody, welcome to another Monday afternoon. I am so happy to be back in the studio where we are talking about energy. This is our second week back in the actual studio, which I'm so glad to be here with you. I can always record the shows ahead of time, but for me, it doesn't have the same feeling as knowing that you guys are listening the same time that I'm talking. Maybe it puts more pressure on me. Last week, we talked about the energy around you, and I want to keep going with the same topic. But this time I want to give you a little bit more understanding, a little bit more tools on how to use that energy, how to affect it yourself, how to manage it, and how to maybe just start recognizing it. Let me start by telling you guys, again, I do not expect you to believe anything I say. You guys have heard me say before, I am not trying to tell you what to think. I'm trying to get you to think for yourselves. When I'm bringing up new ideas and new topics, things that you might not have considered or thought about before, I'm not asking you to jump right in with both feet and believe these things wholeheartedly and adjust your entire belief system to accept these things. I'm just asking you to consider. I'm asking you to spend some time pondering and ask yourself, does this idea fit somehow with your current belief system? Does this idea resonate with you? And maybe it doesn't have to actually fit anywhere necessarily, but just hold on to it. If it resonates with you, if it feels like there's maybe something to it, just hang on to that idea, hang on to the thoughts, consider them, play with them, and see what opens up for you that comes to you to teach you more about these things. I am never asking you to believe anything I say just because I say it. I believe these things or I wouldn't say them. However, I cannot in any way encroach my belief system on you. All I can do is help you open your eyes, help enlighten your thinking a little bit, and help you expand who you are and your whole self by expanding the thoughts that you think and the things that you consider. That's what the Extraordinary Talk Show is about. So talking about energy, one thing we talked about last week is energy must flow. There's energy all around you constantly. Everything that we have is made up of energy. Even solid things like my own body or this microphone are solid things. I can bang my hand against them. However, they're actually 99.999% space. Everything that we see and feel as solid is actually 99.999% space. That means it's only 0.0001% solid. Do you understand? Like, that even blows my mind. I don't have enough mathematical understanding to even quantify how small that is. However, these things feel solid because of the energy in them that is causing the particles to spin so fast that they feel solid to us. Do you understand how fast 0.0001% of a solid space has to spin, how much energy has to be in that in order for it to actually feel solid? Think of like a tornado, that when it's all just air, right? What's air? Can't you move your hand through air? But yet when that is spinning so fast, it becomes completely destructive, and anything that touches it might be torn apart because of the energy that is in that air. Does that make a little bit of sense to you? And guys, I didn't make that up about solid things being 0.0001% space. That's science. That's physics. That's something that you can look up and find out to be true for yourself. Now, energy flows. Energy is constantly flowing, even in the solid things. The more solid something is, the slower the energy is moving. However, it's still moving really, really fast in order for it to actually even be solid. A lot of things are energy. Everything is energy. We talked about ways that energy flows last week. For example, water. Water is a type of energy. There is life in water. And the more water flows, the more energy that it has. Stagnant water loses its ability to promote life. In order to be full of energy, it must flow. We also know that moving air and moving water hold negative ions, which are excellent for your body. They're great for your mood. They're great for your health. They're great for your youthfulness. And those are things that come in flowing air and water. That's when it gets full of energy. Another form of energy that flows is money. Money is a form of energy. It might be a piece of paper. It might be something symbolic that you swipe a plastic card for, but money is energy. And when it's flowing, when you're buying and selling, moving and going, that's when it has the most power behind it. Money that is sitting in your mattress is depreciating and helping no one. Many people will tell you if you want to get ahead financially, you buy low, sell high, right? The point of that is you keep the money moving and going. We all know that in order for our economy to be really growing and effective, there must be a lot of buying and selling going on. If everyone is sitting on their money in their mattresses, the economy can't grow. There's no power there. The money must flow in order for that energy to feed the system. Basically, anything that you might consider as flowing or might describe as flowing or something that has the possibility to flow is something that has energy. There's some other things, some other ways you might recognize energy in a new way that you haven't before. For example, smells. When you smell something, do you understand that your senses, because you have more than 5, are reaching out to find the energy around you? Your eyes are literally showing you where around you the energy is spinning faster in order to create physical solid things. Your ears, we all know that sound moves in sound waves through the air, right? Do you think that's not energy? That's exactly what energy is. There is an energy in sound. Every time you speak, when you sing a song, when you have a conversation, there's energy in the very words that you're speaking. You got to know this too, because what happens when a good song comes on? It doesn't matter what your mood is. When that song comes on, that's your song, your mood is going to change. You know it is. Or if there's a song that comes on that makes you cry every time you hear it, it makes you cry, the energy in that song changed the energy in your body. Is that making sense? Let's go back to smells. You might not think of a smell as having energy, but haven't you ever smelled something that took you back in time to a memory? Smells have an incredible ability to hold memories. There's a certain type of pine tree that when I smell the wind blowing through those pine trees, I go back in time. I'm transported in time to walking through the woods with my dad when I was 11 years old. I can still see the trees around me. I can see the color of the dirt that I'm walking on. And all of that came from smelling the wind blowing through the trees. If a smell can bring you back to a whole memory, there's something magical about that. There's definite energy in that. In emotions. And emotions, guys, energy in motion. That's what emotion is. Energy in motion. Every time you have a strong emotion, if you are to close your eyes momentarily and sit in your body, put your eyes away for a minute and feel what your body feels like, you can feel the energy of that emotion in your body. The stronger the emotion, the more you're going to feel it. Let's say you're feeling angry. Let's say you're mad. And sometimes doesn't it just feel so good to be mad? It does. And when it does, you should always, again, be loving and kind. But sometimes that feeling of anger is so much better than the feeling of hopelessness that you should go with it. Remember, hopelessness is one of the lowest vibrational energies and emotions. And above that is anger. So you might think of anger as a negative emotion. However, it is not the most negative, and it can be used to power you. The energy of anger can fill you and give you motivation to do more, be more, change something. Is that such a bad thing? It's not the energy of anger that's bad. It's what you do with the energy of your anger. That really matters. But consider, when you're angry, how does your body feel? I'm guessing your heart is beating faster. Your breath is going faster. Funny thing, same things happen when you're excited, but anger feels very, very different from excitement in your body. And you can feel the difference of that. Or let's say you're really happy, you're really excited. Stop for a moment and feel your body. You can even imagine yourself being excited. Remember a time that you were excited, that time you got to go to the amusement park, the time you rode the roller coaster, the time you got to see your best friend that you hadn't seen in a year. Think about those times that you were really excited. Put yourself back in that memory and feel what your body feels like. Close your eyes for a moment and feel your body. You can feel the emotion of that excitement within your body. That is energy filling you, motivating you, and helping you thrive. All energy has a type of vibration. Like we said, the energy of hopelessness is about as low as you can get. Above that is things like anger. Above that is things like wishfulness. Above things like that is hope. Above that is love. And you can keep going up and changing how you feel. And when you sit with yourself when your body is angry, and you sit with yourself when your body is peaceful and loving, you can feel the difference in the energy. Again, none of them are necessarily bad. All of these energies are what you make of them. They cannot be assigned as good or bad until you make that assignment yourself. Only you are the one who decides if this energy is positive or negative for you and for your situation. The beautiful thing is you have the ability to do that. You have the ability to recognize energy and to use it for your own good, to change the energy around you, to make your own day better, and to change the energy around you to support the people that are also around you. One way you're going to notice energy is in the people around you. You know those people who walk into a room and everything just seems like it's brighter? They come into the room and you find yourself smiling when you weren't smiling a moment ago. Then there's those other people that are the opposite, that they walk in the room and the whole energy comes down because love has the highest vibration and anger, hopelessness, so on, have very, very low vibrations. And you can feel the difference between when somebody walks in the room with a big, winning, energetic smile and when someone walks in the room angry, upset, hurt, frustrated. They don't always have to say it. And many of us are really great poker players and have a great poker face and can hide the things that we're feeling on our face. But you cannot hide your energy. You can only affect it. How do you do that? You got to change the flow of the energy. You got to take a low vibration energy and change it to a high vibration energy. Energy flows. It will easily and readily flow from a low vibration to a higher vibration, basically with nothing more than your asking and your intention. That's really all it takes because you are so powerful. You don't even know how much power and effect you have on the energy around you because here's why, you're the battery. Your energetic soul that sits inside your energetic physical body, which we've discussed is your virtual reality suit for this cool planet, are full of energy. You are an energetic superpower battery. You can train your battery to be stronger. You can train your battery to flow according to how you want it to flow. If you always want to have a high energy of love, and that's what you want to have in you and around you, that's what you want to resonate from you, you can do that. And you say, okay, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? That's exactly the situations that I'm talking about. Because if something happens that brings down the energy in the situation and around you, you have control to bring that energy back where you want it. People always say, well, I can't do it in that situation. I can't do it in this situation. I understand that there are situations that are harder. Sometimes when the energy is so low, it's harder to find the power inside yourself to bring it up, but you have it. Whether or not you can reach for it in that moment, it's beside the point. You have that power and you can access it. Sometimes in a moment of when you're feeling a lot of angst or frustration or anger, sometimes you got to let that energy kind of boil through a little bit. That doesn't mean run with it, but it doesn't mean ignore it either. Energy must flow. And if you have a negative energy that's pushing you and you try to block it, all that's going to happen is you're going to be blocked. It's okay to feel those emotions. It's okay to be mad. It is. With the goal that you're not going to stay there. With the understanding that you are allowing that energy to run through your body, you're allowing it to flow as it needs to and to play itself out so that you can, once it's done, step past it, step above it to a higher level of energy, to a higher vibration. Don't feel bad for feeling your emotions. Don't feel bad for crying. Don't feel bad for being sad. There are social times and places when it's more acceptable than others to do those things, and you got to use some skill of generalization to figure out where and when it's okay. But it is okay. And sometimes, once you let that big, big ball of energy motion that's inside you fizzle and run and flow and do whatever it needs to work itself out, it can be incredibly cleansing and incredibly liberating. Don't be afraid to feel the emotions that you feel. But as you feel them, maintain the intention of allowing them to flow through so that you can raise up. Here's how to have an intentional energy change. This is one of the simplest things I do, and I do this anytime I'm going into a situation where I want to have a certain energy. I do it before my show. I do it before I go to work. I do it before I meet with someone in particular. I want to go into the situation with me being in control of the energy that I bring. My friend Cody says, I'm not here with these people. These people are here with me. And he uses that to remind himself to maintain his energy, that their energy should not have the effect over him that his own energy has. But he knows he can choose to be the brighter signal, the stronger signal, and can put out the positivity and the high vibrational energy that can even change the energy of the people around you, especially if they don't know better. And most people don't. I didn't used to. So here's how you do it. You do a 3-breath intention meditation. That's all it is. You can do it in under 30 seconds. Close your eyes. Inhale, fill up your lungs completely. And at the very top of the breath, when your lungs are full, just hold that for a moment and then let it all the way out. And when your lungs become completely empty, hold there for just a moment. Then inhale all the way again and fill up your lungs and hold that for a moment. Do a full breath 3 times. Hold it for a moment at the top, hold it for a moment at the bottom. And as you're doing that, Focus on what you want to be, the energy that you want to bring. Focus on the love and service and compassion that you want to resonate from yourself. And here's a hack that I have learned, again, from my good friend Vishen Lakhiani, to ask a question in that moment. We all like to say things over and over to remind ourselves, but if you repeat something over and over and over that you don't believe, it's not doing you any good. You can say, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me, as many times as you want. But if you don't believe it, it doesn't matter. You have to bring some level of faith and belief to the intention that you're bringing. So here's a way to trick your head. Here's a way to trick your belief system. Instead of saying, I am a loving person, you can say, why am I such a loving person? The little change, because if you say, I am, but you don't really believe it, it's harder to put that energy out there. However, if you say, why am I such a loving person? You're giving yourself the opportunity to believe it, and you're giving the universe the desire to believe it. You're telling the universe, this is what I want to believe. What is it going to take for this to be true? And you can do this with anything that you want to take on. Why is it that money flows to me so rapidly and easily? Why is it that every person I come in contact with walks away from me feeling better? Why is it that I always have opportunities to help other people at the time when it's perfect and convenient for me? Why is it that my life is full of perfect timing and things come to me at the perfect time? So what I'd recommend you do is figure out some of these questions that you want to ask. And you can do this anytime. It doesn't have to be just because you're going into a situation where you want to have the strong energy, but it helps then too. So for example, before I go to work, before I even go into the building, I'll sit in my car, do my 3 breaths, maybe even 5 if I got an extra 20 seconds. And as I'm doing my breaths, I'll ask myself, or I'll ask the universe, why is my shift always so smooth and easy? Why, because you guys remember I'm a nurse, why are my patients always so happy? Why are my patients always so safe? Why is everyone around me always happy? Why do people feel love coming from me constantly? These are questions that I ask because this is the energy that I want to take on and carry with me. And I've learned if I say, I'm loving, I always have perfect timing, I always serve and love no matter what. There's times I know I don't always serve and love no matter what. So saying that has just a little bit of disbelief, which makes it harder for that energy to actualize. Any amount of disbelief or questioning makes it just a little bit harder for that energy to be firm, because your belief must be firm for the energy to be firm. But you can, using those questions in that way, trick yourself into a type of faith, kind of skipping past the doubt a little bit by, instead of stating, asking. It makes a very big difference, and it's very, very powerful. Here's one other way you can that you can affect the energy is by sending love to someone. Quick story. A year ago on July 5th, my dog died. I was very, very upset. The night before, I had made a promise to a friend, and I had broken that promise. I felt awful about it, and I knew that she was mad, and I knew that I was in the wrong. There was no question. But I also knew that I needed her right then, because she was my friend that understood my love of dogs more than anybody else. And I remember lying on the floor with my dog and thinking about my friend and thinking, I know you're mad at me. You can be mad at me, but I need you today. And I didn't even call her. I had texted her earlier and said, I'm sorry, but I didn't call her back. There was no more message other than the psychic message that I was sending her. I love you. I'm sorry. Be mad at me later. And after about 20 minutes, she texted me and said, it's okay. We'll work it out. And I said to her, I'm so glad because I need you today. And she actually came over and was the most amazing, supportive friend that I could have possibly imagined in that moment. And it might not have happened. I don't know. Maybe it would have. But I felt that me sending her love and asking for her forgiveness, even in my own mind, sent that power and sent that request for forgiveness to her. It worked. And it changed the entire situation and the entire day for me. And I hope that you guys have the opportunity to play with the energy around you, learn it, become comfortable with it, and figure out how to make it work for you. Like I said earlier, I am not trying to tell you what to think. I'm only trying to get you to think for yourselves. Consider a new idea. Consider a new way of thinking. Consider implanting just a new, different idea into what you already believe.
You've been listening to The Extraordinary Talk Show with Della Hill. Search YouTube and Facebook, Spotify, or Podbean for video and podcasts of this show, or go to radiostgeorge.com. We'll see you next week for another edition of The Extraordinary Talk Show.